Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Annelies and today I will be doing a quick recap of my review that I posted I think it was a year ago when these fragrances first came out. I saw that Zara re-released these 4 fragrances from their 6th chapter and I'm actually not super happy with my first review. Not so much the things I'm saying, but I filmed it in a darker room and I don't know, the quality is just not there, so I quickly wanted to reshoot that review for these 4 fragrances. So the fragrances we'll be talking about today are called Cherry Smoothie, Marshmallow Addiction, Sultry Pear, and Peach Glow. They were released last year, I think it was around March or April, and they were released together with Chapter 5, I believe it was, which were 4 floral fragrances. These are 4 gourmands. They're not all super gourmand, but yeah, I found that these were more popular than the floral ones, so they haven't re-released the floral fragrances, but I think it's a fantastic idea that they re-released these 4, as I sort of felt that people really weren't done with them yet. Especially Cherry Smoothie is a very popular fragrance. I saw it being sold on Vinted, which is like Mercari, but for Europe. I saw they were sold for higher prices. Marshmallow Addiction, also hard to find after it got discontinued. Even though other Zara fragrances, after they get discontinued, you can just find them everywhere on like secondhand websites. You know, for a lot less than they actually cost at Zara. But these fragrances were actually sold for higher prices if you could even find them. So I did feel that there was still a need of the public for these fragrances. So yeah, thank you Zara for re-releasing them. Let me just quickly go over them. So the first one, also I kind of want to say this, I don't own these fragrances anymore. I own one of them. The other ones I decluttered after my last... No, I instantly decluttered 2 after my last review, and then I kept 2 other ones. And then, like, I think about 2 months ago or so, I decluttered a 3rd one. But the 4th one is here to stay in my collection, as that is definitely my favorite. So let's just start with Peach Glow. I don't have that one anymore. And that is not because it's a bad fragrance at all. It's a nice fragrance. I found it to be like a peach body wash. So it is peachy, it's fresh. It has sort of a clean smelling type of scent. Besides peach, it has grapefruit, jasmine, praline, and amber. And I think it's the grapefruit that does give it a little bit of a slightly sharp edge. I don't know what it is with grapefruit notes in fragrances. I feel like I love eating grapefruit, but you know, it has sort of that, what is the word? Like it has some zing. I don't know if that's an actual word, but I hope you know what I mean. And you do sort of get that in grapefruit fragrances. So even though the peach is obviously the most prominent note in this fragrance, I do think it's a bit of a sharp peach, probably because of that grapefruit. I also think, honestly, that the peach is very synthetic, so I don't think it smells like an actual juicy, well-ripened peach. It smells like synthetic peach, like you get in, here I am again, but like you get in a body wash. So does it smell nice? Yes, it does. I do think it smells pleasant. It sort of reminds me a little bit of, and I've reviewed this fragrance in my other video where I review the Infusion collection. There is a fragrance called Juicy Infusion, which reminded me of an apple shampoo or body wash type of fragrance. This is sort of like that, but with peach. So yeah, nice fragrance. I wasn't blown away by it, but it's nice, it's fresh. The longevity and projection were on the softer side. It wasn't very strong, but it's an easy grab and go. Yeah, it's nice. That was Peach Glow. Then the next fragrance in this collection that I don't have anymore is called Marshmallow Addiction. Now there was already another Marshmallow Addiction in another bottle, also by Zara. I never smelled the original Marshmallow Addiction, but I've of course smelled this one. And I gave it one sniff, and I think the first, I didn't re-watch my old video, but I remember just saying no. Just because it is not my personal type of fragrance. I think this fragrance smells like candy, period. I don't mean the super, depending on where you live, your candy might taste different from the candy that I mean. So I put some pictures up on the screen, but it mostly reminded me of the strawberry, gelatinous, fruity type of candy, which is just something that I personally don't want to smell like. I found it to be very juvenile, honestly. Not a fan, but again, it's not that it has a bad scent. It's just if you like candy-like fruity fragrances, just give it a try. You really might like this. I do have the impression that there is definitely an audience for this fragrance. So even though I don't like it, I'm not saying that it is a super bad fragrance per se. And also the typical Zara thing has happened here. They named it Marshmallow Addiction. Just so you know, there is zero marshmallow in this fragrance. Why did they call it Marshmallow Addiction? I have absolutely no idea. Zara tends to do that. Sometimes they give their fragrances names of things it doesn't smell like at all. So no, it doesn't smell like marshmallows. So yeah, that one was a no for me. That one was an instant declutter. But again, let me know in the comments if you do like that fragrance, because there is definitely a crowd for this. And that was Marshmallow Addiction. The next fragrance that I decluttered, this is the one that I actually decluttered, I think it was about 2 months ago, that I felt confident enough to let it go, and that is Cherry Smoothie. This is also a re-release of a re-release, because they already made another Cherry Smoothie fragrance, but I have smelled that one once, and then I smelled this Cherry Smoothie, and I can't really be sure, but I do think there are some differences. I don't think this smells exactly like the first Cherry Smoothie, which I didn't like at all. This Cherry Smoothie absolutely smells like cherries, so they didn't do the Zara thing where they give it a name that it doesn't smell like at all. It is a cherry fragrance. It's very sweet. I think it's well made. It does sort of smell like Lost Cherry by Tom Ford, but I wouldn't really, I don't know cherry fragrances well enough to really compare them in depth, but I do remember that Tom Ford Lost Cherry has a little bit more maturity. It's a little bit more sophisticated than this one. This one is more playful. I actually find this series to be sort of more youthful-ish, but of course, wear whatever you want. Everybody can wear what they want. If you're 81 and you want to rock that peach glow, I'm not saying that this is only for young people, but it does have a fun and fresh and fruity, sweet vibe, you know, all four of this collection. So yeah, it's probably a little bit Lost Cherry inspired, but it's not an exact dupe. Does it smell like Kayali's Burning Cherry? I honestly have no idea. As I've never smelled that fragrance, you know what, I don't think this is a bad fragrance at all. Like I said, I did keep it for quite a while until I recently decluttered it. But I'm also not, you know, like I said, I'm not very into the candy-like type of fragrances and cherry fragrances. I don't dislike the note of cherry, but when it's like super cherry, that is a little bit too sweet and fruity and candy-like for me. So I don't really know a lot about super cherry heavy fragrances. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments if it compares to Kayali's Burning Cherry. Now, longevity and projection. This is what I did not expect, but the longevity and projection of this fragrance, I have to applaud Zara because it is really great. It lasts a super long time and it projects really well. This is like quality-wise, like apart from the actual scent, okay? So the just the performance of this fragrance is really, really great. I know this is a re-release and I'm talking about the ones that they released last year, but honestly, I can't imagine they've actually altered something about the formulation. So if it is the exact same formulation as last year, I have to say, like, the cherry smoothie one really impressed me. It's very long lasting. It has a great projection, especially for the price. So if you like fragrances like Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, but you don't really want to pay that price for that performance. I don't know the performance of Lost Cherry, but I know that Tom Ford fragrances don't always have good performance, and they're expensive. Let's just be honest, they're super expensive, so you kind of expect it to be beast. Then I do think this is a really great alternative, or at least you should give it a try and see for yourself if you like this one as much as you like Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. But yeah, so I think this deserves a praise from Zara. I think it's a really, really well-made fragrance. But again, I'm not super into the cherry fragrances, and I did notice that it just kept laying in my drawer and that I didn't really reach for it. So my head says great fragrance, but my heart is just not in love with it. So that is why I decluttered, and that was Cherry Smoothie. And then the final one in this collection is called Sultry Pear, and this is the one that I didn't declutter. I actually picked up another bottle during the end of last year's sale when they discontinued this series, so I picked up another bottle. And that is Sultry Pear. The bottles look like this. And this is my favorite from all four. It is definitely, without a doubt, a dupe for Jean Paul Gaultier's La Belle, which is, if you don't know that fragrance, it's very heavy on the vanilla and the pear. It has some other notes, but what I'm mostly smelling is pear and vanilla, which I think is a great combination. It's sweet, but it's also fruity. So it's not too tart fruity, but it's also not too sweet of a vanilla. I don't know, I think it just really, those fruity and vanilla notes together just make for a great combination. And it was sort of wasn't a love at first sniff, but it was a strong like at first sniff. I don't own La Belle, so I cannot really go into super depth on the comparison, but I have smelled that one before, and yeah, you can't deny that it is a dupe for that. What I also get in this fragrance is sort of a chocolatey-ness. I'm not saying that it's super chocolatey or super like cacao heavy or anything. It's not listed in the notes, so I guess it's just me. But I do think this smells like, yeah, like a chocolate bonbon with some fruit filling, which honestly I don't like eating at all. I think chocolate and fruit in food do not pair well together, but in this fragrance it absolutely does. It's very, very nice. And I've worn it a couple of times and it did give me a very nice scent bubble. So I do think this has a very good projection and longevity. I do still think that Cherry Smoothie is stronger, but this one is definitely great. There are no complaints in that area, so I think both the scent and the performance of this fragrance are great, and pretty safe to say that it is my personal favorite. Let me know in the comments what your favorite is of this collection, and if you have tried them already, or if you have tried them last year. Are you happy that they re-released them? I would love to hear. I am planning on uploading several other Zara fragrance review videos. They will be coming up very soon. I am ordering a lot of their fragrances. I am test sniffing them. I am making videos, so stay tuned. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I would love to see you for the next one. Bye!